Everyone, Andrea, Rene here for Yahoo Esports. I'm with Ben Silverman, and we are at a Battleborn preview event that Gearbox and 2K are holding, and we got to play Incursion, one of the PvP modes. What'd you think?
Well, I think a lot of people aren't sure what Battleborn is. Is it a, co-op shooter? Is it a competitive game? And you and I found out today it is very much a competitive game.
Absolutely.
That Incursion mode, it feels a little bit like a MOBA, and there's a lot of elements that are very MOBA-like, but it has its own identity. I was really impressed by that.
I really like the tower building elements that are brought in, collecting shards, using them to buy turrets or to buy supply depots where you can go and get health regeneration. And of course, the MOBA elements like having the creeps that are going down the lane and having to take out, sentries. And I think that was really the type of gameplay that is differentiating it from other things that we're seeing in the MOBA space specifically, is that there are these sentry bots that you have to take out versus like a tower.
Yeah, and I like that the bots weren't sort of just in one place the whole time. They kind of scurry around these little areas, so when you actually find their bot, it could be sitting behind a boulder or something. You have to kind of move around the boulder and stuff. I like that it felt like an active battlefield. It wasn't just things that were sort of set in places. One thing that I thought was interesting, though, is there's only one lane. And when you think of MOBAs, you think of 3 lanes. That's sort of one of the defining characteristics. So it took me a little while to get used to the fact that there are these choke points that you're going to definitely, kind of hit. You could kind of go down these side lanes, but eventually it would sort of dead end and you'd have to move back to that middle lane and get into the fray. So it took me a while to get used to that because I'm used to a MOBA where you're going to say, okay, I'm going to go take this lane, I'm going to take this lane, and you feel like you can help your team out even if you're not in the middle of the big battle. But in this case, you kind of have to get in there. You have to get your hands dirty to have any success in Battleborn, which you and I had. We had a lot of success.
We won.
We sure did. Shockingly, maybe.
Well, I think a lot of it had to do with these side objectives, which is a big part of the Incursion mode. It's not only do you have to go down the center lane with your minions, but you have to go take out the shard crystals to get shards to buy upgrades. Yeah. You have to go and attack the AI thralls. You attack them and then you can take them over and they become part of your AI army to take on the enemy. I focus a lot on going to those thralls, really conquering them and then using the money that you got from the shard crystals to upgrade the turrets and things like that, because I really enjoyed playing more of the support characters. What do you think of the archetypes that are in the game?
Well, I mean, all the different characters are so different from one another. I mean, they have an attack and defense and support, but getting to know each character seems like it's going to be really the long-term play here, because I played as a couple different characters. I played as the masked wrestler who was like a melee guy, and we did really well. I did really well with that character in co-op, but in multiplayer, I was getting murdered left and right because you're playing against people who have guns and can shoot you, and it's not like AI who have bad aim or don't really go after you. In this case, I was just a sitting duck. You have to really learn how to run up on guys and pound them in the face. So getting used to your character's abilities and knowing how to use your character is going to be really key. I mean, it's always an important part of a MOBA, and in this case, it's totally a part of this game as well. When you're talking about all those side objectives, it reminded me a little bit of Halo's Warzone, where you can kind of go off and do something else that you can feel like you're helping your team out. If, for instance, you're a melee guy who keeps getting shot in the face, you can run off and kill a thrall or kill some AI and actually help your team in other ways. I did like that, especially with only one lane, because you feel like if you get into that lane, you're gonna have to engage,
So, Ben, they've got minions, they've got sentries, they've got tower defense, there's first-person shooting, there's a whole progression system. They're calling it a new genre, a hero shooter. Is it a new genre? Have they done something no one else has done?
Well, they're doing things all in one place, maybe.
Is that a yes or a no? Come on.
I'm not going to commit.
Don't politician me.
No, I'm not going to commit quite yet. I'm going to have to think this one through. My advisors and I are going to have to come up with a nice press release about this to figure out whether this is a new genre. I don't think it's necessarily a new genre, but I think it's a very fresh take on the MOBA genre and the tower defense genre. It definitely feels more MOBA than anything to me. And I think the fans and players are going to find all kinds of interesting ways to approach this mode. That's what I'm most excited to see, is like watch some videos of things I haven't even thought of and the developers haven't thought of. There's an interesting sense of verticality that sometimes happens in this game too, with certain characters who can kind of launch themselves up in the air and kind of scan the battlefield a little bit better and take guys out. So there's so many different ways to play it that I feel like my experience with it was so limited. I mean, I played as I think 2 or 3 characters. There are 25, and they all feel so different from one another that it's hard for me to pin down Is it a new genre? Well, with the wrestler, it's definitely the first masked wrestler MOBA. So yes, in that case, it's a new genre. But I don't know. All in all, I think it's doing a lot of interesting things. And I think as a package, Battleborn is doing just a ton. It's really got a lot. And I don't know if it's going to appeal to single player fans. I mean, there is a single player component, and there's a co-op single player game. I don't know if it's going to have a huge esports presence. We're going to find out because fans determine that. I think unlike a game like Paragon, which is very clearly going for that esports MOBA 3-lane domination thing, this feels like it's kind of touching on a lot of different elements. But I don't know if it specializes enough in one. So we're going to have to find out when we get our hands on the final build, I think.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for your insight. As always, great to talk to you, and we will bring you guys all of the latest Battleborn news right here on Yahoo Esports.